Late September 1944, Lorraine, France. The morning fog rolls across fields. Engines rumble. German Tiger tanks, big, powerful, feared, are moving forward. Their mission: stop Patton's Third Army. But these legends are running on empty. Fuel is scarce. Spare parts are missing. Crews are tired. Every tank carries weight, and every move risks disaster. Patton's men wait. Artillery fires. Airplanes scream overhead. P-47 Thunderbolts strike. The Tigers fire back, knocking out some Shermans, but the Americans don't panic. They circle, they wait, they trap. By nightfall, the German advance is broken. Tanks stall, get stuck, or are abandoned. Crews blow their own machines to keep them from falling into enemy hands. Out of dozens sent, fewer than 10 survive. The battlefield is quiet now. Smoke rises from wrecked steel. The myth of the Tiger dies in Lorraine. For Germany, it is more than a loss of tanks, it is a loss of confidence. For Patton, it is proof. Speed, planning, and coordination beat raw power. The Tigers rolled toward him with fear behind them. Most did not roll back. And in those fields, one lesson is clear. In modern war, reputation alone cannot win. Only strategy, timing, and determination do. By the fall of 1944, the war in Western Europe had changed its pace and its tone. Paris was free. France was largely behind American lines. German armies were no longer advancing. They were retreating, digging in, trying to slow what felt like the inevitable. For many German officers, the question was no longer if they would lose France, but how long they could delay the Americans. At the center of that pressure stood General George S. Patton. Patton's Third Army had broken out of Normandy in August and never looked back. His columns moved faster than German planners believed possible. Day after day, American armor rolled through towns that only weeks earlier flew Nazi flags. Supply trucks stretched for miles. Soldiers slept when they could and fought when they had to. Speed was the weapon. But speed came with risk. By September, Patton's forces were stretched thin. Fuel was scarce. Roads were clogged. Infantry, tanks, and artillery were often spread wide across open ground. To German commanders watching from the other side, this looked like opportunity. Lorraine mattered. It sat on the road to Germany itself. If Patton broke through here, the American army would be knocking on the Reich's front door. Hitler demanded that Lorraine be held at all costs. So the Germans reached for their heaviest answer, the Tiger tank. Heavy, powerful, intimidating. A weapon meant not just to destroy tanks, but to break confidence. German commanders believed that if Tigers could smash Patton's spearhead, even briefly, the American advance might stall. It was a gamble born of desperation, and it was about to be tested. By 1944, the Tiger tank was already a legend. Its thick armor had once shrugged off enemy fire. Its 88mm gun could knock out an American tank from over a mile away. To many German soldiers, the Tiger still felt like a battlefield king. When Tigers arrived, morale often rose, at least for a moment. But legends age, and by the fall of 1944, the Tiger carried heavy burdens. Each tank drank fuel the Germans no longer had. Spare parts were scarce. Recovery vehicles were fewer. A broken Tiger was often a dead Tiger. If it ran out of fuel, crews destroyed it themselves and walked away. Germany organized its Tigers into elite heavy tank battalions, known as Schwerpanzerabteilungen. These units were rushed from crisis to crisis, never fully rested, never fully supplied. Their mission in Lorraine was clear: hit Patton's leading units hard, disrupt the advance, and force the Americans to slow down. But the battlefield had changed. American air power ruled the daylight hours. Fighter-bombers hunted anything that moved. Roads became death traps. Forests became hiding places. Tigers, once unstoppable on open ground, now crept forward carefully, always aware of the sky. Patton understood this better than anyone. He did not fear tigers, he respected them, but he planned around them. His doctrine was simple: never fight German strength head-on if there was another way. Use artillery, use air power, use movement. As German Tiger units rolled toward American positions, both sides sensed the same truth. This would not be a clean tank duel. It would be a test of endurance, coordination, and time. And time was running out for Germany. Late September 1944. Lorraine. The fog lifts, and the battlefield comes into focus. German Tiger tanks move forward in small groups, not charging, advancing carefully. Their commanders know the danger. Every open field is a risk. Every road could be watched from the air. At first, the Tigers look unstoppable. American tank crews spot them at long range. Reports move fast over the radio. Heavy armor ahead. The word Tiger still carries weight. But Patton's army does not panic. Artillery fires first. Heavy shells crash into tree lines and crossroads, not to destroy the Tigers but to slow them, to force them to stop, to make them bunch up. Once they pause, American fighter-bombers appear. P-47 Thunderbolts scream down from the clouds. Rockets strike near misses. Bombs tear into soft ground. Tigers turn their turrets skyward, helpless against what they cannot reach. Some Tigers fight through it. They knock out American Shermans. They blast holes in infantry lines. The 88mm gun proves it still kills. But every shot costs fuel. Every movement risks exposure. By midday, the German advance loses its rhythm. Tanks stop to refuel. That fuel never arrives. Radios fail. Units lose contact. A Tiger disabled by track damage blocks a narrow road. Others pile up behind it. American forces do not rush. They wait, they circle, they let the trap close slowly. What was meant to be a crushing blow begins to feel like a slow squeeze, and the German crews can sense it. As the sun drops lower, the Tigers are still alive but no longer advancing, and that pause will change everything. By late afternoon, the German plan is already unraveling. Tiger crews report the same problems again and again. No fuel trucks, no air cover, no clear orders. Engines idle too long, burning what little fuel remains. Some tanks shut down to save it. Others keep moving and run dry miles from safety. American artillery tightens the pressure. Fire is steady and deliberate, not rushed. Road junctions disappear under smoke and dirt. Supply routes vanish. Every attempt to pull back is met with shellfire. Then the air returns. Thunderbolts come in low, very low. Rockets strike near engines and tracks. A Tiger throws its track and spins uselessly. The crew bails out and sets charges. A flash. Another legend turned into scrap. Sherman tanks move where the Tigers cannot, around flanks, through softer ground. Infantry with bazookas follow close behind. Using hedgerows and villages for cover, they do not chase the Tigers. They wait for them to stall. By nightfall, German commanders give the order to pull back. But retreat is harder than attack. Some Tigers reverse in darkness and break down. Others are abandoned when bridges cannot support their weight. Crews destroy their own machines, grenades in the turret, fire in the engine bay, then disappear into the night on foot. By morning, the fields tell the story. Burned hulls, twisted tracks, blackened steel cooling in silence. Out of dozens of Tigers committed across the sector, only a handful remain operational. Fewer than 10 make it back in fighting shape. The attempt to stop Patton has failed. And with that failure, something important is lost, not just tanks but belief. What follows is the cost of that loss, counted carefully and felt deeply. The battlefield in Lorraine is quiet now. Smoke drifts above wrecked steel. German Tiger tanks sit abandoned in fields and along narrow roads, many destroyed not by enemy fire, but by their own crews. Fuel shortages, broken tracks, and blocked routes did what American guns alone could not. German records and post-war analysis show heavy losses among Tiger units committed against Patton's Third Army in this period. Tanks that survived combat often never made it back. They were left behind, blown apart, or captured. Out of the large force committed across the sector, fewer than 10 Tigers remained fully operational afterward. For the German army, the impact went beyond numbers. The Tiger tank had been a symbol. It was meant to frighten enemies and reassure German troops. In Lorraine, that symbol cracked. Crews learned that armor without fuel was useless, that heavy steel could not move faster than air power, that the battlefield no longer favored slow giants. American losses were real. Sherman's burned, infantry fell, but Patton's system worked. Artillery, air power, and movement replaced brute force. The Third Army did not stop. It adjusted and kept pushing east. German commanders took the lesson badly. Confidence in heavy armor fell. Tigers were held back or broken into smaller groups. The idea of a single weapon turning the tide faded. For Patton, the message was clear. Momentum mattered more than myth. Speed, coordination, and pressure could defeat even Germany's most feared machines. The road to Germany remained open. And with it came a deeper truth about how modern wars are decided. The Tiger tank was never just a machine. It was a promise. To German soldiers, it promised protection. To their enemies, it promised destruction. For years, its reputation traveled faster than the tank itself. Men feared it before they ever saw it. But Lorraine showed what reputation could not hide. By 1944, war had changed. Battles were no longer decided by the biggest gun or the thickest armor. They were decided by fuel, coordination, and control of the sky. A tank that could not move was no longer a weapon. It was a burden. Patton understood this. He did not try to prove courage by facing Tigers head-on. He let time, pressure, and planning do the work. He allowed German strength to become German weakness. Heavy steel sank under its own weight. For the men inside those Tigers, the lesson was harsh. They were skilled crews, often veterans, but skill could not overcome shortages. Loyalty could not replace fuel, and bravery could not stop rockets from above. For the Americans watching those burned hulls cool in the fields, the meaning was simpler. The war was not over, but the fear was fatting. The enemy could be beaten, even at his strongest. The Tigers rolled toward Patton with history behind them. Only a few rolled away. And in the quiet that followed, one truth stood clear. In modern war, belief alone is never enough.